You're listening to the Rebel Scum podcast.
You are always scum.
Rebel Scum.
From odds making to list rankings, we've got you covered. And don't forget to join us on Patreon for early access and exclusive content. Here are your hosts, Brock and James.
So James, I've been rewatching Clone Wars. Yes. Even though I've watched both episodes that have come out, this is why I love Disney Plus. I love getting up in the morning and seeing content on a Friday. So yeah, I've been rewatching it, and I got to the part, I can't remember. It's the end of the storyline where like Obi-Wan pretends to be a bounty hunter and like trying to foil this Dooku plot, and at the end they're on Naboo. There is a person standing in the crowd that looks remarkably like Luke Skywalker. Now, I don't know if this was intentional, and by that I mean he's blonde. He's very blonde. He's got like a dumb look on his face. He's got like hair like, like feathering out like this. And I was just like, oh, wow, that's cool. Like, I don't think it's Luke, but it's sort of like, I wonder if they put that in like, well, his mother was from Naboo, so maybe he looks like a Naboobian. And I was like, what is a Naboo? The Naboo? What is the... If you're from Naboo, what do they call it? The Naboo? Or the Nabootians? I don't know. And that's what I pondered this week. They refer to them as like the Naboo, but then... What a play. So check it out. It's like the last episode of that. I feel like, I don't know, the storylines don't have names per se, because the episodes are different. Like, check it out. Last episode is probably like the last like 20, well, the show's 20 minutes. Last 10 minutes of the show where there's like a ceremony on Naboo. There's just a character. I'm like, wow. These are the flight of fancies you'll get every time you tune into the Rebel Scum podcast. My name is Brock.
I'm James. Talking over you.
157 episodes of us stumbling into each other. Actually, I guess at one point we were in the same room, so it was a little bit easier.
But I think we still stumbled over each other.
Oh, yeah.
I think at one point we were in the same room. We were in the same room longer than we haven't been in the same room.
Yeah, I mean,
that's fair.
They slowly, scale starts to tip. But yes, Rebel Scum Podcast, where we bring you all the Star Wars news you need to know. Check out our other channel, RSPN, or
Detours.
Detours. So many words. For just, hey, I need a little bit of Star Wars. Well, here's a little bit of Star Wars for you. Yeah. And I gotta give a shout out to, I forget the YouTuber that made this mention on the last episode. To be honest, these episodes are too long. Well, first of all, this is pretty much regular. Like, I understand your confusion because there's video coming at you. But check that out. If you want the little highlights of our shows, that's our other channel.
We have the link will be in the description where you will get pieces from the episode chopped up. So if you're like, I just want to hear them talk about X, you can go and you can just hear us talk about X. For everybody that just is cleaning the kitchen, whoever's cleaning the kitchen or their dorm room or their bedroom or whatever, we're here for like an hour. So you could chill with us for that amount of time. Clone Wars is back. I wonder how ratings are for Clone Wars. I'm curious.
I feel like we talk about this every time a new show comes out, which is only different shows on Disney. Like, I would really like to know, like, are people interested in it? I guess maybe do ratings matter on streaming? I guess it does.
I would say, because you
got to find some kind of way of finding out what people are liking. So you
they trend. Know, and I feel like the thing is, this is the last season of Clone Wars. I would. It's weird though because it's season 7. It's not like this is like they're like, well, we're going to do a one-off show and see how it goes, and then you could base like maybe we'll get an animated series about Kylo and the Knights of Ren based on Clone Wars, but it's the 7th season, so it's weird because you have a built-in fan base already, like a built-in fan base for a built-in fan base on this one. But what I think was the most intriguing about all of it was before Disney Plus launched, the two was it the animated shows are two of the biggest things people were excited for, looking forward to, anticipating, was The Simpsons and Rebels.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's more telling than anything, is that people were anticipating Rebels, a chance to watch Rebels. And I would say after the Mandalorian finale, people should be even more intrigued in Rebels and Clone Wars for that matter. But you know, if you're already excited about Rebels, it tied into the Mandalorian in ways I didn't expect.
Yeah. So good. Oh, I just remembered something, but it's perfect. Leave it for the news. Because I was like trying to find one more story, and I was like, I know I had one. I gotta write some. I'm getting old, James.
Yeah.
I have all these good ideas, and I don't write them down, and then.
Yeah. Okay. You're turning what, 36 this year? 35? How old are you? 36? 36. Give me a break. Getting old.
Give me a break.
I'm so old that last year I was like, come celebrate the last year before I turn 40, but I'm not turning 40 this year. I was like, I'm already looking to the future. I was like, I'm done with my 30s. Let's move on.
What are we talking about today, James?
Who cares?
Star Wars.
We're talking about Star Wars. We got this show's episode 157, 157 episodes of this stuff. This episode is brought to us by our good friend Red Wolf. Red Wolf sent in a super chat during last week's episode. But obviously, when episodes go up, they aren't live, but we do have a live chat. So if you're watching it, if you're in the live chat right now, we're not live, sorry, but there is a live chat. Just it brings everybody together. We get to have a good conversation, and we can defend what we say, Brock. Not that we need defending. Everything we say is perfect. But Red Wolf sent in a super chat, so why not make today's episode about this one? So Red Wolf, this is on you. Thank you so much for your super chat, and we encourage everybody to send in super chats.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Red Wolf says, so today's show is about the High Republic. We got to talk about that because last week we recorded before that announcement on Monday where Project Luminous disintegrated and rose up like a phoenix out of the ashes as the High Republic. Red Wolf says, hey guys. Hey Red. What do you think of the High Republic? So let's just start there. There's a couple other questions here, but let's start right there. Brock, first thoughts from Red Wolf. What do you think of the High Republic?
I mean, I'm very excited from what I've seen so far of what they've released, and it's interesting. I mean, I guess it's because there's a comic series, but there's a lot of pictures of like concept of like what they're gonna look like, and then there's novels. So I'm like, oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I still don't love the High Republic moniker, but I get my question though. Before we dive really deep into details, do you think this is how they've been talking about doing something in the past of Star Wars? Is this their way of doing it and then not doing it in a movie, or do you think we'll still see some kind of High Republic in movies?
So on Monday's live stream, where I was alone because you have a quote unquote job and Andrew has a quote unquote job, and well, so do I, but I wasn't at my job at night. I said I think that Project Luminous is just going to be the High Republic because I don't think they have the future movies planned yet, based on especially what we talked about last week on 156, where they might have hired, the director of Slight and this and that. It's like, well, like I don't think they have the movies planned, and so I started to think that the High Republic and all this talk about that was going to turn into Project Luminous, and that's ended up what happening. Because I think. I mean, there's a huge, very high possibility that this bleeds into film, which is another question coming up from Red Wolf. But I think all the High Republic talk, the Star Wars Newsnet leak, I think it was misinterpreted as films, and it was just the new era of Star Wars is High Republic, and it's books and comics right now. And eventually that could turn into something else. Before we get right into that, my thoughts on it were, I'm okay with the High Republic moniker. I know you're not. I just think there's the Old Republic, there's a High Republic, and then there's a Skywalker Saga, which is kind of weird. The Skywalker Saga would be the New Republic era, right? So we have Old Republic, High Republic, New Republic. I think that's how they're going to play it out. I think, or it'd be Imperial New Republic. That would probably. So, that aside, I love how they're handling this canon, and we'll talk probably more about this on episode 158, or how they're handling the canon. Because one thing, Brock, we talked about this 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago. Shadows of the Empire. Shadows of the Empire is. Now, nobody wants to acknowledge that they all hate Dash Rendar over at Lucasfilm or whatever. But it was the greatest thing that happened to Star Wars. Because they're like, here's. And oh, by the way, if you want to see Andrew's review of High Republic, go over to RSPN Detours. He does his there, and he kind of mentions this there too as well. You have the book, the comic, the video game, soundtrack, action figures, right? For Shadows of the Empire. There was everything for this thing. And Dash Rendar leaves the book, and when he leaves the book, you're in the video game. And that's and then you can play with your toys and make up your own stories and whatever, and then go back to the comic and get that. And then you have the soundtrack for everything as well. And I just feel like it was so perfectly done as an expansion pack to Star Wars. And I think the Lucasfilm, the new era of Lucasfilm under Disney hasn't tapped into that. And I mean, they didn't look after Shadows of the Empire. George Lucas stopped tapping into that, right? I guess you could kind of argue the Clone Wars series, which you talked about off the top, was kind of that in a way. Right? Yeah. So I just think that is what they're telling us this is. We'll see how they execute it, but what they're telling us is, I think this is the most perfect way to go for Star Wars right now, and I'm hoping that it bleeds in. We'll see how the characters are. I love their King Arthur, the Knights of the Round Table reference and all that. I love that. I always thought, Robin Hood and His Merry Men, and it sounds like they're going in that sort of direction. Yeah. So I do love that. I just think that you have all these storytellers now in this room with all these ideas, and you have we've seen this picture now. The picture of this episode, the thumbnail is these Jedi from Project Luminous. I'm interested to see how they're all going to connect with one another, but connect via separate storylines. Yeah. Like, I don't need them to connect every minor detail of everything together. I think that's when things get problematic. But just like Shadows of the Empire, if hold on, let me pull up a name here, Brock. Let's say the lady on the front cover, Avar Chris. If Avar Chris is like, I have to go get a burger, and she leaves to go get a burger, then the Claudia Gray novel could be about her getting a burger. Yeah. That's what I would like. It's like those little, like, the pickups, because everybody's got a story. And I said this before to Andrew. I think I was like, when I was growing up, my favorite book, I loved The Outsiders. Everyone knows The Outsiders, but have you read That Was Then, This Is Now? Another one by S.E. Hinton. No. So, and That Was Then, This Is Now. My mom's like, you have to read this, and I was like, okay. And I don't know why she made me read this when I was like 10. It's all about drugs. But anyway, at one point, there's like a character named Eminem. And he gets on acid. He gets addicted to acid. But they're going on, and then Ponyboy shows up in that book. Just shows up in that book. Okay. And I was like, that is the coolest thing ever. Because it had nothing to do with The Outsiders. But once Ponyboy shows up, you're like, it's the same world as The Outsiders. And that's I just love that. And I think that's something that they might be playing with in this one, like that kind of aspect to it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm always in for that stuff. I mean, I think Star Wars loves doing it as well. I mean, look how the Ahsoka character has grown. Yes. Look at the Hondo character has grown. I mean, Hondo went from like a villain in Clone Wars to a fun character in Rebels to a character in a ride now.
My sister, sorry, side Akbar, my sister's at Galaxy's Edge. And she sent a video of Hondo. And I was like, you have no idea who Hondo is. But now she knows who Hondo is. Yeah. I was like, it's Hondo. She goes, I know Hondo now. I'm like, okay. All right. I get it.
I just, I haven't been ignoring her Instagram feed because I can't deal with it. Our friend Kyle went there like last month. And I'm like, how are you there before I was?
Well, he has kids. So it makes sense. But, yeah, I think the next episode I'll put up the video of her getting kidnapped by Kylo Ren.
Nice.
Yeah, she was taking a video and the stormtroopers pulled her away. We'll pull that on episode 158. We'll show that for funsies. So that's what we think of the High Republic, and what would you like to see? Sorry, this is also from Red Wolf. Would you like to see its intro as a Disney Plus series or movies?
I like that idea, because that's the thing about books and comics. If you're not looking for it, then you'll miss it.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it's smart that they release these pictures, because I think people need these visuals. So like, obviously, straight off the bat, seeing a Wookiee with the lightsaber, people are like, what is this? I mean, I think they put the right names on this: Charles Soule, Claudia Gray, Kevin Scott, a whole bunch of other people. I'm very excited for it. But yeah, I think it would be smart, because you'd be like, and don't market it at all. Just drop it.
Yeah.
Like Cloverfield, where you're just like, next week, Project Luminous is in full effect. Still use the Project Luminous thing. I'm curious if Luminous becomes a word that you see prominently in this book series. I know it's just they make up a code word and blah blah blah, but that'd be great. But yeah, I would love that. I don't know. I can't see it being live action, but I think that would be huge if they did that. They got to make these big moves. They got to bring these people in. But yeah, what do you think?
This is where it gets tricky for me. Is when you create something like this, and it really seems like they're all in on these books and young adult novels and comics and all that. Are they going to leave room for a series or a movie? Because everyone has a problem with the contradictions. And this sounds like something that they can't contradict because they have it. Again, though, let me pull up another name, Brock. If Wookiee Jedi Buryaga Agaburi.
Yeah, that's a real roll off
I
the tongue.
know. I wonder how long it took them to spell. I want to actually tweet Charles Soule and see how many times he could spell that accurately without copying and pasting it. That's what I want to know. But if there's a chance you can get something in a series and you follow them in a series, I think that would blow this out of the water. I think a Disney Plus series more than a movie. I don't want this to tie into the movies too much. I would like movies to reference this going forward. Like this era, not all the time, but every once in a while there's a reference to an event that happened here or something along the way. Or it would be kind of cool if, there's a new thread and all this stuff. If they say that they wanted to find out what the Jedi were afraid of, what sparked fear within the Jedi. And they have these space Vikings now, the Nile or something. So I'd be curious if there's something that happens here that they're able to put into. I mean, it wouldn't happen right away because, like I said, I don't think they've figured out the movies yet. But if somebody watching now who's 10 years old who wants to make movies and doesn't think of a Star Wars movie, they're like, there's that one thing that happens in High Republic, and they make a movie about that, and it ties in that way, and they use that to grow. That's what I would love to see happen. I think it's Disney Plus series. It would blow it. I think, like I said, I think it would blow it out of the water. These books would sell even more after that because I think you would get fans of the show to be like, oh, I got to look into this. And I was talking to your roommate Daryl, our friend his sister Stephanie. She was like, oh my god, new Star Wars. I'm like, it's just books, and her interest waned heavily, right? Because she's not into reading the books. But imagine if you put that on a Disney Plus show and it's good and people really enjoy it. Someone like that might be intrigued to go and read at least one of those novels. Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, I think there's more to this than they're showing us. Because they get I think is it Doug Chang's involved?
He's involved, yeah. And Ian McKay, who designed Darth Maul. There's heavy hitters designing concepts for this.
I mean, it could just mean video games, perhaps, which is not a bad move. I mean, look at what we were just talking about with Shadows of the Empire. And Shadows of the Empire, I think the video game was the core of all that really brought people in. But yeah, to involve these guys that typically deal with the film is oh, that's interesting. It's well, here's what they look like when they're walking around. This is what they look like when they're in the Jedi Temple. And I don't need to see that. It could just easily be like, oh, they've designed this and this is what the comics will look like. Which is, I don't hate that. Like, it's Star Wars is so good at this that like they put out like a series of like this is the new books coming out to deal with this. Here's the novel, here's the YA, here's a comic, here's a younger comic, here's a picture book, and you're like, oh, I want to read all of those because you're like, maybe there's a little piece of information in the kids story that you need to know, or the cartoony comic, like, oh, this is what happens here, like, so I think there's a lot more. I mean, they put out books all the time, and not saying they don't put a big deal on all of them, but for this to have a massive group of people putting this together, like, there's something going down.
Yeah, you might be right. They kind of said it won't have movies or video games tied in. I don't know if they said no TV, but I'm pretty sure they said no. I mean, but look, we've been lied to in the past, right? Like, we've been flat out lied to about lots of things from everybody. So who knows? I mean, I hope to see more, because I would like more. Like I said, the more people that are drawn into this, the bigger it is. And I keep asking the question, what is Star Wars? And no one seems to know. It's like, how do you make Star Wars different? Well, this looks like it could be it. Because Star Wars, and I always say this as well, is like, Brock, you might have got into Star Wars because of Return of the Jedi. I might have got into it because of an action figure. Somebody else might have got into it because of The Force Awakens, because of Rebels, because of the Droids cartoon, because of the, our executive producer Heidi, because of the Christmas holiday special. Everyone got into it from a different medium. Like Bloodline. Maybe you read Bloodline. Like, this is my favorite thing ever. Now I love Star Wars. A comic book, like, everyone got into it from somewhere different. And this is a way to take all of that and bring it in and bleed it all together in a way that creates separate stories in each medium, but all connected right from the get-go. And the problem is, when they were like, all canon is now, all books and whatever is now all part of the same canon, it's like, well, that's George Lucas's canon that you're now interfering with. It's tough to pull everything together that way. Now they've started this from scratch, 400 years before everything, so you kind of know where things are going to lead to, but you have no idea how we get there. And I just think that this is, use this as your starting point for Star Wars. Embrace this all. And when people say, what is Star Wars? Like, this High Republic era, what we're doing here, Project Luminous, is Star Wars.
And like, this is almost, when you think about it, like their first foray into something big that's new, that's Disney specific era Star Wars. Like, they don't have to link it back. I'm sure they'll find a way, but like they can, it's free ground. It's like, that's wild.
No, that's what's so awesome. But if you limit it to just books, and I shouldn't say just to books and comics, because look, there are a lot of books and comics that are way better than the Star Wars movies and vice versa, but you're not reaching the audience you could be reaching and the potential you could be really reaching. And imagine having these group of storytellers, these minds, putting stories forward for a series, for a film. Just, I mean, like, you've got the best, you got great minds. And the thing is, as great as these minds are, there are other great Star Wars minds that aren't involved in this that you could bring in and be like, well, let's do more. So I don't know. I just think that this is an amazing starting point for Star Wars going forward. It starts August 25th with Charles Soule's. What's that first book called? I sent it to you. Jeff Wilson sent it to me while we were doing the live stream. It leaked while we were doing it. It's Light of the Jedi, and that's with Avar Chris at the front and Wookiee Jedi Buryaga Agaburi. I'm going to show everybody. You can't see it, but I'm showing it on my phone. Buryaga Agaburi. You got to say that 1,000 times to get it in your head. Buryaga Cadbury egg.
How do you think they're going to shorten that?
Burry.
Burry.
Yeah, Burry. Imagine if he's Gaga.
I was rewatching Clone Wars, and I got to the part where the younglings find their kyber crystals, and there's a Wookiee, youngling in there, and he's just named. I think he has a fuller name that they say at the top, but they just all call him Gunji, and I'm like, yeah, It's like you kind of have to do that with all Wookiees, it seems.
It's gonna have to be Burry.
Yeah.
Or well, his name starts and ends with Burry.
Yeah, maybe it's
Burry,
like
Aga. Oh my God, his name is the same name backwards. His first name is his last name backwards. Am I?
Burry, Aga Burry. That's crazy.
I didn't even realize that till right now. We just solved a mystery. Burry,
That's
Aga
interesting.
Burry.
There's got to be something involved with that. That's interesting.
Well, he's definitely related to Chewbacca. Okay.
Chewbacca.
And the final question from Red Wolf. Brock, are you excited for lots of sabers? Light sabers, laser swords?
Yeah. I really hope they do more colors. Like, it's boring that now we're stuck where it's like red is Sith.
Yeah.
Jedi typically is blue and green. Like, that's just. I think it would be interesting to see, because it's like when again, going back to Clone Wars, when I'm watching this younglings finding their crystals, they all kind of looked blue, but like they turn out to be different colors when they first ignite it. Like, or maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. But yeah, let's get some like pink, some bright orange. I don't know, what other color could there be?
Green?
Something with
Blue?
sparkles.
This is one thing that annoys me when people get mad at the quote unquote Disney Star Wars, is when they complain about the amount of lightsaber colors and sand planets. It's like, yeah, but George Lucas was pretty much the exact same. Hold on,
Yeah.
Aaron's walking in. Aaron, what's up?
Hi.
Hey,
I'm looking for a
she.
chair.
She's looking for a chair. Do you want the one I'm sitting on?
Or a stool.
They're in there.
Will I be on camera?
No, you won't be on camera. Aaron's interrupting the show. She wants to be on camera.
Sorry.
What do you want to say? What do you think of the High Republic, Aaron?
What?
What?
What? She's like just walking away right now. She has no time for me. She's looking for this chair.
You've been married for 5 years, and she still is puzzled by the things you say. Like, you think she'd be like, you're like, oh, I think it's great, and then leave the room.
Yeah, no, she's doing this for comic relief. She was like, that sounds cool, but she's not going to read the books. What? She's talking to me, but I can't pay attention. I'm trying to record this. So right now, Brock, the colors that they're showing of lightsabers are...
Oh yeah.
So the colors they're showing, which is the thumbnail to this video, so you could just check that, but I can't check it right now. We've got black, like a dark saber type one,
Sick.
blue, like a turquoise, teal, a greenish, the white blue, yellow, pink, pinky purple, and a double-sided white, which looks a lot like Dark Ray's saber.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, some cool characters, and there's a Loth. There's like a Loth wolf as well, which tells me that Dave Filoni had 90% to do with. Dave Filoni is somehow involved in all of this. We're not quite sure, but we are. I'm excited for more saber work. The only thing is like a lightsaber fight in a book is boring.
Yeah.
You know, that's something that visually would be better. A comic book, sure, but I think give us a series or something and throw these in.
Yeah.
Might be too expensive for a series. I don't know.
Maybe, but like, if you can shoot Mandalorian in front of a big green screen.
Yeah, true. I think they said there's going to be some, but I just think toys. You have to have toys. We need them. I don't need them. The kids need them. Get the kids in. Get them while they're young.
The children, go God, think of the children.
All right. So that's everything from Red Wolf. So anything else you want to talk about in terms of High Republic? You enjoying the High Republic?
I'm very excited. I want to know more things. I hope Charles Soule comes to Fan Expo. Because when does his book come out? It comes out in August.
August 25th.
Right? Ooh, that is like right on Fan Expo time.
Yeah.
They moved it back into August. Ooh. But that might mean he might not be available. But like, that would be great. Like, that would be awesome. Like, I would love to interview him about that. But yeah, no, I'm excited. You put in a Wookiee with a lightsaber on the cover, I will buy it.
That's just called smart.
Yeah.
Like they know. See, this is something that I thought the sequel trilogy really could have done more of, was just give us aliens, these species that we love in new ways. And this is something that I think they're going to start embracing more now that they've gotten the whole sequel trilogy, the whole Skywalker saga out of the way. They've moved that aside. They said, "Be gone, Skywalker saga. Be gone."
Be gone.
Oh, I'm just trying to get. Are you ready for the odds?
I am ready and locked and loaded.
Never tell me the odds.
Our Never Telling You the Odds segment is brought to you by our Patreons, the wonderful patrons that think we're great and like to help us out. So those people are executive producer Heidi Fetter, Barry Brophy, who just started following me on Instagram, Dennis Allen, Mary Kristen Aton, Jeff Wilson, Aaron Quinton, Al Schuler, Phil Staniforth, Janet Rubio, Rachel Alford, Austin Scher, Scott D, Andy Higgins, Josh Price, Mason Hope, Matt W, Rez, Rural Farm Boy.
Who just said that name? Was it Brock just said Rural Farm Boy? Frank Perkins, Sooner, Thrawn, Neil Lowry, D. Raven, Spencer, Charlie Skywalker, Gleek Play 1, Kayla Davis, Automated Joy, Charlotte, Mariah Weekland, Jericho Kane, Girls with Sabers. Which color sabers do they have? We should ask them. We need to ask them which colors, because we don't know. Maybe they're gonna go like right off the rails and be like, I can't think of a weird color right now. And then of course everybody's favorite Dead Nerds, Josh.
My lightsaber would be like rocket pop colors, red, white, and
I think I would go with this new like turquoise teal one for sure. I would go with that. I'd be like, yeah, I'm good with that one. I think I'll do that. Although
there just seems to be like, looking at these pictures, there's a lot of like pastels.
Yes, well, they're books. My sister said she was gonna get me a kyber crystal. I don't think she did. And she said, which one? I said Sith. Let's go Sith. I really want like a Dooku kyber crystal to talk to me all the time. Be like, hello, I'm Dooku. That's my Dooku impression. Thank you, Patreon. You can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Rebel podcast. New shows weekly on Patreon.
Wow.
Never tell me the first odd, the odds of Yoda appearing at some point in the High Republic. At some point in any form of this will Yoda be mentioned. First paragraph.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I don't think he needs to be a main character. He could be like a back pocket sort of like, here's Yoda. Mm-hmm. But yeah, 100%. He'll be in it.
I'm going to go 91. Sorry, what was that? You were saying something and I rudely interrupted.
No, I just said 100%.
Yeah. I'm going 91 because I don't believe in going 100 or 0%. But it's definitely 100%. But I'm going to go 91. He's like, I think the first paragraph of this Charles Soule book, Light of the Jedi, is going to be like, a young Yoda stood and watched as Avar Kriss.
He says sentences in full order. Then something happens, and now he talks like this. He
gets kicked by a mule. His eyes aren't crossed anymore. The next the odds of a Funko Pop of Buryaga Agaburi, the Wookiee Jedi. A Funko Pop of Buryaga Agaburi, Brock's new favorite Jedi.
I would love it, but I'm very pessimistic that like this will. I mean, no, that's not true. I think they'll do action figures, but Funko, I don't know.
Funko
I think it
sells better.
Funko will surprise you. I think I would be shocked if it happened, even if like they're like, oh, it's gonna happen, and I still wouldn't believe it till I saw it. So I'm gonna go 25%. It's very cool, but I don't know.
I'm going full Brock. It could be a Celebration exclusive, something along those lines, or like a New York Comic Con exclusive or a San Diego exclusive. I don't think like I just Funko is the only thing that seems to make money anymore in terms of figures of any type. So
I think you've hit something there, James. I wouldn't say Celebration. I would say Barnes and Noble. Put it out when the book comes out.
That's a yes. That would be smart. Chicago C2E2 was this past weekend. and they had a poster for this as well. And the novelization for The Rise of Skywalker early release was available there as well. And our final odd today, the odds of a Force dyad being mentioned in the High Republic. Will we see a Force dyad in the High Republic?
It makes sense because it's sort of like we haven't seen it in many years, and like I feel like it's still not fully understood. And so, yeah, let's do it. Maybe same idea, like your villain group and your hero group, and there's that connection. Though, I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna go 45%.
I'm gonna go 33%. I would love it. I think it would be great. But here's why I'm going to go low. And it's more going low because I actually kind of want it not to happen, because I want them to... I do want more of the Rey and Ben and the Force dyad. I do want more of that. But I also feel like High Republic, this whole thing should just be its own thing, separate from the events of all... How many movies are there now? 11? 12? How many movies are there? 9, 10, 11. Separate from the movies that we've seen. Just make this its own thing. Do not worry about connecting it to that stuff. You have 400 years going forward to connect it, and you have an infinite amount of years before this to connect it. Do not worry about it right here. Make it its own thing, because once you start to worry about what we've seen, you're going to get bogged down with too much information that we don't need. So I'm going to go 31%. You ready for the news?
Oh, you know it.
We're gonna bring the Hollow News. Da 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 da. Hollow News. Da 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 da. Hollow News. I'm such a good singer.
Yeah.
People don't appreciate my vocal cords like they should. All right, Brock, my mic is gonna be turned off.
I like to pretend that Erin's downstairs going like this when you're singing.
She's like, oh, they can't see you right now. Hold on.
And then
Do that again.
just like you know how dogs do this when they're hearing.
They're both doing that right now because my singing is something quite atrocious, to quote Mary Poppins. All right, Brock, news.
Hello, news. The news you need to know right now. We've been talking about Wookiees, so the first story's got to be about Wookiees. Jonas Satamo has had his first daughter. I don't know. He's just revealed that his wife has had a new baby, and they have named her after his role in Star Wars.
Wait, I have to interject. Brock. I have to interject. The baby's name is not Little Baka.
Okay.
They have not, as of recording this, they have not named the baby.
Oh, okay.
He just tweeted it. He just tweeted it out because everybody's mistaking it. So I have to.
There we go. This is what happens when I copy and paste.
No, he literally just tweeted it, Brock.
Literally just tweeted it?
Yeah,
okay,
like
cool.
As we're recording this, I'm doing our What's Up with Star Wars. This is what I do while Brock reads the news. Sorry, everybody. And he just tweeted, we haven't named the baby yet.
Oh, there you go.
So sorry, back to you.
As Princess Baka. That's not the case.
He still refers to her as Princess Baka.
No, yeah. I mean, he could just call her Becca, and we just all know. Anyways, so yeah. Congratulations to Jonas Satamo on your new baby. And coming up in comics, the Rise of the Skywalker film adaptation will be made into comics like they've done with the past films. It will be led by Jodie Hauser, who did Thrawn and Rogue One, and she has announced that there will, like the novelizations that will be coming out shortly, there will be expansions onto deleted scenes and stuff we did not see in the film. She said, I think I'm more excited about some of these new things we're adding, including expanding moments from the movie with elements we didn't get to see on screen, which is vague, but spoilers. So that will be coming out in May of 2020. No specific date yet, but yeah. I highly suggest, though, with these ones, they're good. And like I've said in the past, like it's cool because you kind of see different angles, but this might be full pages of just stuff we haven't seen. Wait till the trade comes out. Just read it because it's sort of like maybe it's little increments and you don't want to spend all your hard-earned dollars on individual. Though I say support your local comic store. Just buy the trade when you get it out. our final story. This goes out to all our fans in the UK. I don't know how old this is, but I believe it was announced this week. They can now pre-order Disney Plus. You can join us. Hopefully, you'll get it. I didn't write down the dates, but you can pre-order it now, and hopefully, before Clone Wars is done, you can start watching. I don't know, but now you don't have to illegally download in the UK for Disney Plus content. And this has been your Hollow News.
Hollow News. Top 5.
Top 5.
So, I'll have to put this in editing, but this Project Luminous High Republic thing. Did you watch the trailer, Brock, for it?
No.
Oh, you should. It's pretty.
Wait,
it's pretty good.
Yes, I did. And I was just like, this is all clips from the video, from the movies.
Yeah, and then they go into the interviews and then they show this whiteboard. And the internet has run rampant on hate for this whiteboard because, you know, I'm fine with them showing the whiteboard, but we live in a day and age where you pause crap and you freeze frame it and then you break it down. You read every single thing on the whiteboard, and it's like, I think if you've ever written anything, it's called brainstorming, and you just throw words on a board, on a board, on a wall, on a piece of paper, right? And it's like, it doesn't have to do anything with it has nothing to do with anything, but you just throw it up there. So anyway, this was the whiteboard for the High Republic. All the writers were in the room, and they all kind of threw up words and they wrote it down. And these are the ones that stick. It's on the screen right now. So Brock, our top 5 are top 5 expectations from the words on the whiteboard. Our favorite 5 words on the whiteboard, because people are nuts, and I want to embrace the love that we have. And I think we both have the same number 5, and that is dinosaurs.
Which is a favorite candy of mine at the Canadian retail store, Bulk Barn.
Bulk Barn's great, by the way. Shout out to Bulk Barn. They do not sponsor us, but shout out to Bulk Barn.
The Rebel Scum podcast cannot be bought, but sponsor us. Yeah, dinosaurs. I'm like, yes, please. Now you're saying earlier, like, people are like, what? Which makes me laugh because, like I mentioned before, I've been watching Clone Wars, and last night I was like, man, they really like to have people ride on things because it's like, maybe like as in like the episode where you first meet Saw Gerrera, he's on like this weird like bat creature.
Yep.
Like in the Umbara thing, I think. No, the train heist one where you see Boba Fett and Asajj Ventress. There's just guys on caterpillars. It's just like, so this is not unheard of. Like if it's dinosaurs, I don't think it's dinosaurs like what we know as dinosaurs. It's just like, hey, put like a dinosaur creature, and then I'm like, yeah. We had Mudhorn in Mandalorian. Why is this
exactly? Obi-Wan rides that lizard thing in Revenge of the Sith. Like I don't. People are overreacting. It's a word on a board.
Yeah.
And I hope they're all Stegosauruses.
And it's oh, me too. And like, there's an exclamation mark right after. It's like they knew what they were putting down.
That was probably on there just for the video. They're like, we need to put words on the screen for a video. Let's piss everybody off and put "not pro-war."
What I really think is important from this, though, is I don't know if it's just the picture I have. It doesn't show the very bottom of this whiteboard, so there could be a lot more on there that we're not sure. Unless. Do you ever see the whiteboard in full?
Maybe. This is the one that I found on Google Images, so I don't know. I'd have to watch the video again. I thought it was after the whole people going nuts. I was like, this will be a fun top 5, but they can write whatever they want. Like, I don't care. For me, my other one is Sith Empire. I like the Sith, and I want to see more. I think that might be one that got scratched off of this, but I love that they thought about that at least.
Yeah. My number 4 is Rival Houses, because I'm like, ooh, we get that Game of Thrones feel in there. And I like the concept of maybe all the good guys aren't exactly on the same playing field, or they don't see eye to eye. So it's like maybe our villains aren't the main problem. Maybe it's just there's no teamwork going on. So yeah, Rival Houses.
My number 3, Relic Hunters.
Yeah, that's my number 3 as well. Because I'm like,
I love it.
Go on fun adventures with dinosaurs.
With dinosaurs looking for Wayfinders, not holocrons. I would love it. My number 2, complicated monsters. Are these dinosaurs? Is this like Dino in the original episode of the Flintstones where he could talk and he had emotions? Complicated monsters is my number 2.
My number 2 is chaos agents kind of going along with rival houses. It's like, ooh, like we're gonna have problems, they're gonna solve it, and then someone's gonna come and muck it up, and like, yeah, I like that. So it's like maybe I think there's it says diversity on this too, but like it seems like there's a diverse amount of problems. Like we could have the Sith Empire, we could have problems in the team, and then problems just all of a sudden someone comes in and shoots somebody, and then end of season they're like, oh, what was that? So yeah.
All right, my number 1, actual ending. I like chaos agents, which I don't think I said, but I like chaos agents, but I'm going with an actual ending because I think it's important to know how this is all going to wind up. Yeah. What is the end game here? What are you building towards? And I think that's something that I've said this before, that the sequel trilogy was lacking. What is the purpose? You give me purpose, have an actual ending. Tell me what it is. And so that's my number 1. Brock, your number 1?
My number 1 is not pro-war, so it's like it's funny because it's called Star Wars, but like yeah, it doesn't have to be about some massive battle. I'm sure there'll be something, but like let's just go on adventures. That's all that we need.
I agree with that.
Top 5.
Those are our top 5. Top 5 today, brought to us by good friends over at Star Wars for giving us a whiteboard for everybody to complain about. Lots of fun talking Star Wars. That's another song I wrote, Brock. It's called Star Wars.
Cool.
Are you going to be pre-ordering the book for August 25th, or are you just going to show up and grab it? Are you going to read it on your flight to Orlando? Or you'll be in not Orlando, Anaheim. You'll be in Florida, California. Oh, gosh, get your states right. California will be the time it releases, I believe.
James, I just realized we're not going to be at Fan Expo. We're going to be in California when it happens.
Oh, well, then I hope he's not. Oh, so he'll probably be at Celebration anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. You know what this means? This means
sure. I don't know. I don't think they pushed it back, but
we're gonna get a copy of it.
Pre-order, like, why pre-order anything unless there's like some fun, like extra, like a Aga Burry.
Hey, if they have that at Barnes and Nobles, you'll be able to pick it up because you'll be there.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll be in a real country.
I like to get most of these Star Wars books digitally, so it's like, why? Like, I'll order it and get it.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, Aaron got me the Bob Iger book for our anniversary, and I've been reading it, and it's a really good book, but it's in hardcover, and I'm just like, I'm literally like, now I understand why I like my digital copy so much more, because I don't need to worry about a light or wind blowing the pages or carrying the damn thing around. It's like it's so much more practical to have a digital copy. I'm sorry, I don't get the artwork. Well, I don't. You know what?
We'll be in California during Fan Expo. Wow, this is gonna be the first time I haven't gone.
This is emotional for you.
Can you see it on my face?
I can see your face.
Anyways.
All right, this has been the 157th episode of the Rebel Scum podcast. Give us a listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, SoundCloud, maybe others. I don't know. Just look for us, Rebel Scum Podcast. We are the scumbags of that. Join us on Patreon, patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast, where we have exclusive content, early access, things like that. And this is where you always learn one fact about us, and that is that Brock was always scum.
Rebel Scum.
Hey scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.